He's in the kitchen, mate.
Fuck off.
Tom, don't move.
I don't want an eyebrow.
Trust me, Tom, trust.
I don't want one.
Don't move.
I don't want one.
Tom.
What the fuck?
Just chill. Just have your chocolate orange.
Don't hold me, mate. Oh, kick off.
What is good? What is Gucci? What is happening right now? We asked you guys a few questions. Well, you guys asked me a few questions at Instagram and YouTube. And here are my answers to those questions. I quite like these Q&As because I feel like Q&As can just be shit superficial, like absolutely nothing, or you can actually provide people some decent value with them. So if you're watching this on YouTube, which you obviously are, drop me a follow on Instagram if you don't already, and you can ask me some questions on the next one. I'll choose the best one. So these are kind of the best questions that I've selected. John Mar X98 asks, do you have a morning routine? Yes, I do have a morning routine. I think morning routines are so important to starting the day right. And when I've got like a solid morning routine in place, the rest of the day like follows beautifully, and I'm so much more productive. So current morning routines: wake up about 6:30, have a cold shower, come out of the cold shower, get dressed, go for a walk, listen to a podcast, go for like a half an hour walk, get some steps in, enjoy like the outdoors, enjoy nature, walk around the marina by me, come back, sit down, read a book. I like calculate how many pages I have to read in order to read a book in the amount of time that I wanna read it, like a minimum number of pages. So if I'm trying to read a book a month, let's say that I'll take all the pages and divide them by the days in the month, and then if I need to read 15 pages a day to finish a book in a month, I'll do that and set that as a minimum. Listen to some classical music, not use social media in this time. Like, it is so important. Like, I do not use social media in the morning at all. I set like a limit. Like, I won't use social media until 12 o'clock or 2 p.m. Like, I just won't go on it, period, because it is the ruiner of hard work and procrastination. Social media is an absolute cancer. So I'll read a book for about half an hour, read through the pages, I'll read more if I'm really into it, and listen to some classical music whilst I'm reading. It's actually been shown in scientific studies that listening to classical music whilst reading improves your reading speed and improves the amount of information you take in, and I quite enjoy classical music. Then I will meditate for about 15 minutes depending on what I'm doing. Chris Yan 009, without supplements, is it possible to build a physique like yours? I don't really take supplements, dude. Haven't used HMB in about a year, don't use creatine. The only supplements I use are pre-workout, literally nothing else. If I cut in the deeper stage of the cut, I'll use your Himbine, and I will occasionally use like whey protein if I can't get my protein intake up, but like generally speaking, I've become one of those fucking vegan guys that don't use supplements. How is my leg? My leg is working. It's functional. I can walk, I can run, but generally it hasn't been great. It's like good considering all things, but obviously with my condition in my leg, it gets worse over time. So it's meant to get worse over time. I believe that I can prevent that from happening, and I can actually make it better to some extent through exercise and like actually just taking care of it properly and doing the right things. But yeah, my leg hasn't been good, and it's because of my weight. You know, the edema in my leg, the swelling in my leg has been quite bad. It's been quite swollen, probably because I've been eating loads and loads of carbohydrates, getting very heavy. I'm 204 pounds. So I think I need to like reassess, reevaluate, get back down to like 180, 185 pounds. And that's like a better weight for me, and not really do one of these bulks again. Devon Wagoner, weirdest thing you've seen at a festival? That was probably, I don't know, a lot of it I probably can't remember. I've seen some weird stuff. We normally do weird stuff, to be honest. When I played a set in Cardiff, in Wales, we had, there was this duck, like plastic duck on the front of a stage, and everyone got it and took it down into like the crowd and started like worshipping this giant plastic duck at like 3 a.m. in the morning, which is quite funny. A lot of stuff like that happens. That's why I love UK festivals. I've turned around to see this like fat dude with his dick out, just like pissing, like absolutely fucked. That's quite funny. Emmy Gucci, top 3 books. That's a very hard question. I'll give you top 5 books, or 5 books that I enjoy or recommend. I get asked about books all the time. If you're on RET, if you're not on RET, you should be. I do every book that I read, I write like a brief overview of. I write like a book review and basically my takeaways from it, like what the main things that I've learned from it, recommend books, and I'm also going to start doing videos on there about the books rather than writing articles on them, just because I think videos are a little bit better. Top 3 books or favorite books that come to mind are The Power of Now, A Guide to Spiritual Enlightenment by Eckhart Tolle. Really, really cool. You just have to go into it with an open mind. It's basically about being present, and how it sounds quite weird, but you've just got to like be accepting and maybe read it a few times times. Basically goes on to us about how like we're sat on this like treasure chest in our own heads. We're always looking to the future. We're always looking for like reasons to be happy like in the future and being like, oh, when I've got this, when this has happened. It's this notion that we live in the future and the past, and we don't appreciate the now. We don't appreciate this present moment, and all that really matters is this present moment right here, right now, at this very second of this very day. That's all there is. That is all that is relevant. The present, the now. The future is the future. It hasn't happened yet. When you get there, it'll be the present. So the present only matters. The past is the past. It's gone. And it's basically saying how all people have this like potential. They need to unlock this. People can unlock this happiness, and if they realize that they've just got to be present, they've got to like be conscious and live in this present moment and live in the now rather than living in the past or the future. It sounds like quite hippie and mumbo jumbo, and there's a lot of like crazy like weird concepts in there, but I think it's absolutely great, and I honestly think that if you follow the principles in this book and meditate and other things, it's like it'll be really beneficial to your life. Number 2 is High Performance Habits by Brendan Buchanan. Currently reading that one. It's a really good book. I'm really enjoying it. It's got a lot of like, it really makes you reflect on things, and in terms of like, I find it quite motivating and makes you think like, why am I doing certain things? What are my reasons why? And motivates you to do more, and really like gives you an insight into the minds of high performers versus people that aren't doing so well. And it just makes you realize any habits that you might have that aren't good. So Power of Now, High Performance Habits. Number 3 is probably going to be Ryan Holiday's The Obstacle is the Way. I think Ryan Holiday is one of my favorite authors. His books are like really easy to read. Then other ones that come to mind is What Everybody's Saying. Book on body language, really, really important. I think that people's body language is shit. Like generally, it's like it's more important that we naturally pick up on it. Like subconsciously, we pick up on people's body language, whether you understand it or not. The way people are sat, the way people like interaction. Do you know if you get like bad vibes or weird vibes from a person, quite often it's their body language doesn't relate to what they're saying. So you can tell that they're lying about something, you can tell that they're not comfortable, or tell that like something isn't quite right. As I'm saying this, I'm like really conscious of my body language. So let's analyze me really quickly. I'm sat quite comfortably, I'm leaning on something with my arm, I'm spreading out, I've got my stuff spread out, which shows that I'm comfortable in this environment. It's mine, I feel like I own the place. It's like quite a dominating way of sitting. I'm speaking my hands as well, which is a sign of that I'm happy or believing in what I'm speaking, and it's charismatic. I'm eye contact, like obviously I'm looking at a camera, it isn't really relevant. But you could also argue that I'm sat away from you, which is like means I'm not happy with you. But again, I'm speaking to a camera, not a person, even though you're sat there. Lenny.Lewis, how did you deal with depression/anxiety if you've had it? I feel like it's the cool thing these days to have like, everyone has had like depression or anxiety or suffers in it from some form, and I was like, dude, like what the fuck are you, I don't know, I've always like really resisted that. I've always been a bit of like an outlier in the sense that no, you don't have anxiety, you just get stressed sometimes, like no, blah 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 and all this stuff, and I've never really experienced it. And until recently, weirdly enough, I don't know what it is, but I just like this last year I've been quite anxious about things, and it's like not anxious about things as such, but I've got this like, I get this like feeling of like tension throughout my body, this like lump in my throat, like I can't pinpoint what's causing this like stress and anxiety, but it's like it's there, and it's building up, and it's getting really bad towards the end of the year, like really bad. My life was better, I was living in a sick place, and maybe subconsciously it's because I like put my happiness and all these things happening, they happened, and then I was like, okay, now what do I do? And it just made me like anxious and worried, and it was getting not very nice at all. But started meditating, started to like reflect on things more, and I find that meditation really, really helps. Like it gets you present, it puts you in touch with your body. It's a great way of getting over or acknowledging feelings, not so much combating them because you're not meant to resist them, but just like accepting them and seeing them for what they are rather than letting them control you. So meditation, man, it's a hippie and mumbo jumbo shit again. It sounds like stupid, being a man of science, so I was like always very snobby of it, but there are genuine scientific studies to show that it's like beneficial and helps in many aspects of your life. And a lot of massive CEOs, guys that are killing it in their game, pinnacles of whatever they're doing, they all meditate and they all relax. In terms of depression, morning routine for me was a great one that's like got me out of this. I'm not going to self-diagnose myself, but again, it's almost like seasonal. I went through a stage a similar time around when I was still living at home, end of last year, and I was like, it wasn't good. Like I was getting into this like downward spiral, this downward cycle, and I was going to bed really, really late. I was eating loads of shit food all the time. I was staying up. I was doing things for like instant gratification, jacking off, fucking watching Netflix all the time. And then I threw weed into the mix as well, and I was smoking a joint like every single night. And I've never even really smoked in my entire life, just getting high for like every night for a month. And then I'd wake up, I'd go to bed at like 3 a.m. It'd get to a point, I'd be like, oh, okay, what's the point? I might as well just have like a fucking big bowl of cereal, eat some shit food. What's the point in going to bed now? It's already 12 o'clock, then I'll stay up till 3 a.m. and then I'll smoke a joint, and then I'll wake up the next day at like 11 o'clock, and then my whole day will be offset again, and then the process will basically begin again. I'll have brain fog from smoking the previous night before. Like I'm not a big fan of cannabis. Like, or I think it has its place, and like every now and then, like a drink of alcohol is fine, but doing it regularly for me just really isn't the one. And sorting my life out in terms of morning routine, realizing my whys in terms of motivation, why I do things, what do I want out of life, is the current is where I'm currently at, putting me on the right path. That just made me realize, like, no, like you need to change some things, you need to do things differently, and you kind of need to resist that. And the only thing stopping you from being getting to where you want to be is yourself. God damn, I'm on a fucking roll today, aren't I, boys? I'm in like a flow state. Yesterday I recorded a Q&A, and the microphone wasn't working properly, and it was fucked. Like literally took an hour out to do it in the morning outside, and the microphone was the camera was just fucked, and I was like a bit gutted about it, and it kind of threw off my whole day. But like I said, there's always, this Q&A is gonna be a million times better. There's always good to come out of the bad, and I just need to remember that all the time and accept that, because this is smashing it. Ollie Slots, what did you study at college? At college I studied chemistry, biology, geography and photography. Dropped chemistry in the first year because I didn't need it for the degree that I wanted to do, and it was fucking hard. It's the hardest A level, 100%. Chemistry is very difficult. And then just did those. Went to university, did marine biology and oceanography, studied that for 3 years, completed it, and started YouTube at the same time, and here we are now. Andrew McCoy, tips on how to be a savage when approaching women. Okay, this is something that I feel like a lot of lads, a lot of lads really need to fucking improve on it. It's something I want to master, something that I want to be great at. It's like one of the reasons why I get scared off relationships. Like there's a plethora of reasons, but one of them is I don't want to settle down with someone until I feel like I've mastered game. Tips on how to be a savage when approaching women. Learn how to do it properly. Learn how to approach women properly. The one thing creepier than a guy that knows game is a guy that doesn't know how to game. If you know how to interact with people properly, if you know how to socially interact with people and have like good game, and can make women come to you and not be this like weird, creepy, beggy guy, that's gonna benefit men and women like so much more than just being some like absolutely clueless, fucking gropey, weird guy at a bar that has absolutely no clue what he's doing, So learn about game, and a quick little game 101 is push pull. So don't compliment, like don't go up to someone and like fucking throw them a compliment and be chivalrous. Chivalry is dead for a fucking reason. Like if you want to go on a date with someone, you don't go up and like throw them a compliment. It's not the fucking 1960s. That doesn't exist. There's a reason why the fuckboy or the nice guy finishes last. The nice guy finishes last based on a series of psychological principles, based on the value and based on give and take. If I went up to someone and you want to neg, so say like a playful insult, like a mild insult, or like a backhanded compliment. So for example, me and Alex went out the other day, just went out together. We just like to meet people, meet girls. Went to a bar, saw there's a big group of girls, went and started speaking to them, started having a conversation. We told them that me and Alex were gay, we're like a gay couple together, which like kind of diffuses, it's funny, isn't it? Whether they believed it or not, it's just funny, which diffuses any kind of like us wanting something from them. And then we just had an absolutely great night, sat with them, chilled with them. But as one chick there, and she had like, was really interested in me, she had like a cough or a cold, and I was like, what did I say? Stay the fuck away from me, you've definitely got coronavirus, like 100%, you look like you've got coronavirus. Like it playful insult, so neg, and it's kind of, it pushes people away, and then it makes them like want to be pulled in again. It makes makes them want your approval and validation. If you start like putting all your cards out on the table, like being like, oh my god, you're so pretty, you seem like a fucking creep, mate, you seem like a weirdo, and people are gonna be like, okay, why is this person giving me value? He clearly wants something in return. You want to go into interactions just to have fun, just to meet people, like speak to as many people as possible, and just get into the habit of like, even if you have no like intention with someone, just go out there to have fun and like bring the energy. Like that's literally it, just be authentic, be yourself. Don't expect things from people. Don't buy girls drinks. That's another thing, because then again you're buying someone a drink, so it's this like trade of value. You're giving a chick a drink, and she's gonna be thinking, why is this guy giving me a drink? What does he want in return from this? Clearly I hold more value from him, so clearly he wants me to reciprocate in some way. So you're gonna get used for drinks, and she's gonna be put off you or turned off you in the sense that it's gonna be like, why, like what's going on here? The ultimate power play is to have girls buy you drinks. That's the best thing. Or if you're too scared to stay out, be like, okay, you get this one, I'll get you all. The ultimate power play is when you fucking get them tap water. That's I feel like we should film this. It's fucking great. But yeah, there's so much to learn. Just learn about game and be nice to people, and just realize that you have to believe in what you're doing. Realize that it benefits both men and women more if you can have more fun, and if you're not a creep, and if you can just go into interactions like with like genuine, authentic, good energy, and want to have a good time. First thing you're gonna do when lockdown, Tom. What's the first thing?
This is a real fucking question.
What's the first thing you're gonna do when lockdown is finished?
What do you think we're gonna fucking do? Smash a Gary, mate.
What's a Gary?
Fucking bammy boom,
Oh, bammy boom, mate. Beautiful. Now everyone knows. Now everyone knows my videos when I'm saying bammy boom. What's the first thing you're gonna do when lockdown is finished? First thing we're gonna do when lockdown is finished is myself, Tom, and Alex are gonna go out. I'm gonna order fucking 3 espresso martinis. I'm gonna drink all 3 espresso martinis. I'm gonna find a group of beautiful girls. I'm gonna sit down and have a lovely, wonderful conversation with said girls, and then we're gonna go out and dance the night away, mate. Have a sick time. I'm gonna spread my seed everywhere. Martin David EZ, ambition with DJing and producing. I fucking love DJing. I fucking love producing. I love music. It's one of my greatest passions. At the minute, I'm just pouring, like, DJing's pretty easy. Like, a lot of people can do it. A lot of people can get it really quickly. But what separates the men from the boys from the men is production, sitting at a computer for hours on end, making like one drum, one snare, like sound very differently, days spent on like small boring elements. So at the minute I'm putting all my time into producing. I'm DJing a little bit still, but I'd love to be playing big sets. I'd love to be producing tunes, and I feel like DJing for me is a platform to showcase my own music. So at the minute I'm on a quest to produce, prioritizing it in the mornings, producing an hour every single day, and just going from there. And my plan is just to get so good at producing that whatever happens, and if my tunes are good enough and people dig them, you're not going to be able to fucking ignore them because they're so good. So just master a craft, get good at it, and the same thing I've done with everything else, you know. Just be passionate about it, do it out of passion, and then see what happens. Push it. Barnes, BARNES, best pre-workout apart from yours. I'm gonna say hands down, without being biased, that my stimulant pre-workout is the best pre-workout and my most favorite pre-workout that I've ever had in my entire fucking life. It might not be the strongest pre-workout in the world, it might taste pretty shit, but the effects are phenomenal, mate. I was saying this to the boys the other day. I mean, I've taken it like too much recently. I took it like 4 or 5 days in a row for training, and you just get put on such a good level. You're so motivated to train, you feel fucking incredible, and you get absolutely no crash afterwards, and you can still sleep. It is banging. Pump stuff, that serves a purpose as well, but I kind of think pump and stim pre-workouts, pump products are barely a pre-workout, are they? Obviously got nootropics in, but it's like two different things. Going back to the question, best pre-workout apart from mine, Alpha Dark Side, pretty crazy strong. MV Pre is good as well, and Kraken. They're kind of my like 3 go-tos, or have been my 3 go-tos before I released Wobbs. But again, like I used to love like really hardcore DMAA stuff, but it takes away from your training, I find. Like a good balanced pre-workout, or like a really blow your face off still, but with good balance is banging, mate. Like when people just pour DMA and your him into pre's, the crash is terrible, it takes away from training, you feel shit towards the end of the session. DMB Active asks, favourite drum and bass artist? Unglued, big ups to my boy Unglued, fucking legend, absolute hero, such a sound guy. He's been on my YouTube videos before, he's been in quite a few of my YouTube videos actually, and always has like so much good energy, and is incredibly underrated. So Josh is gonna absolutely smash it this year. Unglued DMB, check him out if you haven't already. It's a bit like the stuff he produces is very like niche. I think the drum and bass scene in England, the music scene here, is like really like underground, but has like such a strong culture to it. It's like what techno is to Amsterdam, what shitty EDM is to America. In terms of like productions, in terms of like sound, I'm a big sucker for dance floor, so things like Wilkinson, Dimension, Metric. I love like those video game synthy kind of like mainstream sounds as well. Like, so there's loads, dude. There's fucking loads. Jelly of Zoets, what is your guilty music pleasure? Probably metal. I've always been a sucker for metal, pop punk. Little Dick asks, what has quarantine made you grateful for that you took for granted before? Women. I know it's weird, but like just general like social interactions, just going out and meeting people and having like really good conversations and just like bantering and like having a good time with girls. That's what it's made me incredibly grateful for girls, because my fucking balls are about to explode. I haven't had sex in like a month. Finn Freeman, what made you shave your eyebrow? Bored, it'll grow back, who gives a fuck at the end of the day, like we're all gonna die and it's such a small, a minute physical thing, you know. I find that your outer self is a reflection of your inner self, so that's no excuse not to take care of yourself and make sure that you're in shape and you look good and all that stuff. But number one, like you're gonna die at the end of the fucking day. Number two, it'll grow back. It's funny. Who gives a shit? Like I don't really care. And number three is also it aligns with a thing called peacocking. It makes you look a bit weird. It makes you look a bit different. Gonna catch people's eye, and it just makes you stand out a bit more. It's like a unique selling point. Tom Walters 1905. Are you happy with where your life is going at this point in time? Yes, at this very point in time, I'm very happy with where my life is going right now. At this moment, I am happy. I am happy. Richard Harrison 21. Best advice for someone trying to get into videography / like event promo. Number one bit of advice for that is passion. Passion is everything. Be passionate about it. Love it. Master the trade. Get sick at it. People are like, oh, you shouldn't work for free and all this shit. Yes, you should fucking work for free, mate. Like that's what you do. Like if you love something, you don't do it for money. You do it because you love it, because you're passionate about it. So I learned in terms of videography, I learned absolutely everything I could. Like everything I learned has been off YouTube. Literally just YouTube. I've got no formal training whatsoever in videography. I've worked on films with Tom Cruise. I've worked in massive studios. I've worked in exotic fucking islands, been paid thousands of pounds to fly out and film. I've been pretty lucky. I haven't even been lucky. I'm good. I'm fucking sick with it. It's not even luck. So literally you're gonna have to work for free. Just get good, master your craft, offer people free value, get working with people, get collabing with like influencers, get collabing with brands, network, meet people, be yourself and just tell them like why you want to do it and your passion. The way I got into videography with like music labels and the way I met some of like my best mates and so many of my favorite artists and producers was I was at an event one time. I got chatting to one of the guys that ran the event. I was like, yo, I'll make videos. I'd love to shoot one of these events. I'll do it completely for free. I love the music. I love making videos. And they're like, okay, give me your email, send me some of your work, send them some of my stuff. And they offered me to come and film an event up in Bristol. And they're like, yo, this is sick. What are you doing next month? Do you want to fly out to Croatia and film this entire festival for us with literally like an event that I would have dreamed to go to anyway. I'm getting paid to go to and film this. I was like, fuck yeah. Whilst I was there, I met someone else through just chatting to people, being friendly, like networking. Met someone else there that runs a festival on an island called Sardinia off the coast of Italy. Fucking beautiful. They got me involved with that, flew me out to do that, did that festival, and now I go back every year and do that festival and shoot that festival. It's one of the few things that I do. I'm in a position where I can like pull back from videography work, but the select few things I absolutely love and I'm passionate about doing, I do that. So it's just about putting yourself out for free, getting the contacts, meeting the people. Like I knew no one in the industry or the scene. Like everyone that I've met, I've done through putting myself out there, offering to work for free. Through my work with record labels, I've met artists that I've like absolutely loved and adored. Like my favorite artists I met through that. I've become mates with like so many people that are at the pinnacle of the music industry in terms of the scene that I like. Yeah, it's cool shit. It's cool. Put yourself out there. How the fuck do I lose my virginity? That's a funny one in capital letters. I'm not gonna name this guy. Okay, I actually lost my virginity at 15 years old. And I feel like it's one of those, I remember being 15 and my friends, like some of my friends had lost virginity and I'd be really worried. I'd be like, oh my god, I'm never gonna lose my virginity. Like, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna be this like 50-year-old virgin, no one's gonna love me. And I was so worried about it and so desperate to like lose my fucking virginity. I don't think Alex lost his till he was like 19. I don't think Tom didn't lose his until he was like, I don't know, 17. And it's like, it's pretty normal, man. Like being in like your late teens, your like early 20s, don't stress it, don't worry about it. Number one is don't be a creep. So don't go out like being like trying to like lose your virginity and get pussy and like being like this, I don't know, just creepy fucking guy that just is out there to try and like snake and smash girls. Number two, don't be a victim either. Don't just sit inside. Don't come up with excuses as to why like you shouldn't have sex with this person or you shouldn't get laid. Don't self-sabotage in terms of, oh, like she isn't right for me or blah blah blah. Take what you can. Like it is what it is. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because at the end of the day it's just this like made up social construct, your virginity, that has to be like special and glorious. Go smash someone behind the back of a dumpster, mate. But yeah, how do I do it? So just go out, start to meet people. If you're not young enough, if you're not old enough to go out, don't stress it, man. Meet people, go out, have a good time, bring good energy, bring good vibes, go into interactions with like no expectation. Don't like speak to people because you want to fuck them. Speak to people because you're generally interested in what they have to say, because you like the interaction, and just go out, have a good time, meet people, and it'll just happen like organically or authentically eventually. Lee Evans, when you started YouTube, how long did it take for you to become comfortable with talking to a camera? Dude, I'm still not like this like person that's sick at YouTube or incredibly comfortable with speaking to a camera. Like, I have my bad days, I have my good days. But it's like anything. You spend 10,000 hours doing something and you're said to be a master at it. Obviously, that's just like a saying. But obviously, the longer you spend at something, the more time you put into it, the better you're going to get at it. So it's purely practice, dude. It's purely doing things that scare you, vlogging in public, getting outside of your comfort zone. And the more you do it, the better you get at it, the less fucks you give. You just get used to the feeling of speaking to a camera. You get used to the feeling of being judged. I find as well that like, I don't visualize the camera as a person, but as I'm saying this, like right now, looking into the camera, I'm like thinking about you, picturing your face, my guy. We've met at festivals a few times, Lee. Lee, you fucking legend. And it's a lot easier to speak about things when you're really thinking of people, or imagining you're speaking to people rather than talking to a camera. Because at the end of the day, there's going to be someone behind their phone or computer screen. You guys are watching this right now, so it's like I'm having a conversation with you, but I'm sat in a room speaking to a black box that is my camera. So yeah, dude, just practice, literally practice. And I'm still shit sometimes. I have to warm up. I find that I often scrap an entire video and record it all again straight after, because the start of the video is so much worse than the end. The rules are, if you go onto the balcony, you do 10 pull-ups. £4 man does pull-ups. So YouTube Anchor asks, will more Motech Labs products be coming in the future? Yes, absolutely, 100%. So we're only just getting started with the brand. How is the financial situation of the company as of now? Obviously, it's less than ideal given the issues we've had with coronavirus. So it's just like things are on pause a little bit. Like everything we made on the restock though, we reinvested back into the company, reinvested into product development, into getting new stock. I don't take anything out of it personally. Everything stays in the company, everything stays in the brand, and I do not actually get a salary or a wage. I take dividends from it sometimes, but other than that, it's like all for growing the brand. But with that, we want to do 500k gross this year with it. But there's things we need to do in order to get there. We've just moved to a warehouse, so we don't ship anything ourselves. At the minute, we're just trying to like upscale and get like into that next stage of big company, like getting a team together, people on full time that actually believe in the brand, people that can like manage the back end and all of that stuff. Cause it's a lot of work, but early days, and it is gonna fucking smash it. Ivy, how many tattoos do you have, and do you have a plan on getting any more? What is the meaning behind them? Do they have a theme? This one on my ankle I did myself. It means wob, which is literally just the sound that a bass line makes when you're at a festival. So that's kind of the whole meaning behind my brand and wob, which I think is kind of funny. This one here is from a Latin quote, which is around quod es, eris quod sum. I was what you are, you will be what I am. It is written on gravestones, and it basically means that one day you're gonna fucking die. It's like you're from the point of view from the reader, you're reading the grave, and it's saying one day you're gonna be like this, like dead in the ground. And then forgiveness and permission. It's better to beg for forgiveness rather than ask for permission. I think that too many people do things waiting for approval, and they kind of put things off because they want to get permission to do it first, but you're wasting time, and you're never gonna get that permission that you seek. So just do things and then ask for forgiveness after you've done it if it's wrong. And a lot of the time it's going to be completely fine to do it anyway, so just do it. And then that one is gun fingers, based on my 3 favorite things: fingering, guns, and gun fingers. Kyle, what are the chances you come to the US and hit some festivals? I say the chances I do that are very, very fucking high. Me and the boys have wanted to come over for a long time. I want to get back to America to link up with some old friends, and we actually planned on going to EDC in Vegas, but 1, it is sold out, 2, coronavirus cancelled it. That was some questions and answers from you guys and myself. I hope you enjoyed that. If you follow me on Instagram, you're a good egg, you're a good person. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should probably follow me on Instagram, because I'm most responsive on Instagram. I always get back to my DMs, and if I do Q&As, most of the questions come from there as well. So link down in the description below for that. Until next time, peace out. I love you to bits. Thank you. Good night.